with my trainer and good friend, Antony of COMPLEX.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi. Marina Newington, founder of PowerSystem, a 5-step process designed to help entrepreneurial women set the foundation for time and financial freedom. And I am so excited for this Facebook Live today because Antony is an amazing, amazing trainer. I've been working out with him for over 5 years, and I am super picky about who I work with. I have to tell you, I only like working with the best. And I've had lots of personal trainers over the years, and I've stuck with Antony, even though I can tell you he has recently moved in January to Trent Park, and it means that I have to drive half an hour in each direction, but for him, I do it. For him, I do it, although I am promised it's short term. So that's how good he is. And I know that we are all struggling a little bit right now because we are all in a crazy situation with this lockdown. I know I've been talking to you all a lot about food and all sorts of ideas about cooking so we can get out of the kitchen and spend more time prioritizing yourself and your work and all the other things that are important. But I really want to talk to you about another aspect that's super, super important today, and that's about movement. Okay, we all know how important exercise is. Exercise does so many amazing things for us. It improves our mood, it increases our energy, it changes our body shape. It does so many wonderful things. And just because we are in lockdown and just because we are at home does not mean that we have to stop moving. Okay, now we are allowed to go out once a day, but don't go crazy with this. The advice is to stay at home. I take my daily walk every day. I think I would die without it. I've been very lucky to have beautiful sunny weather, and I go outside every day, and I combine my walk with food shopping usually. But every day we can work out from home. And Antony is here to talk to us about it. So first, I'd like Antony to introduce himself to you a little bit and tell you a little bit about his philosophy, how he got into training. And so, Antony, talk us through. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this whole thing and what your whole approach to everything is.
Yes, so I graduated from Middlesex University, and this was back in 2012. At that time, I was working heavily within coaching for juniors. And then once I started to decide kind of what route I wanted to go into, I ended up in personal training. I soon started to find my methods in terms of getting results, and found quite early on I came up with some good strategies for transformations. That kind of led me on to developing our brand, which is Complex, and now we're just operating out of North London. We work with kind of your full-time parents, professionals, athletes, and our big thing, our philosophy is, well, very simply making the complex simple. So we just want to make, there's so many ideas thrown out towards people now. What's right? Should it be high fat diet, low fat diet? Is sugar bad for us? And there's so many training systems which are pushed out, whether it's HIIT training, steady state cardio, resistance training. Is resistance training good for us, bad for us? And simply all we want to do is make these options as simple as possible for people, and make sure that people are being very efficient with their time and just doing the simple things, doing them right, and then delivering results. And we've been pretty well known for our transformations with this process ever since.
Right, and you have a great transformation page, which I will attach to the links here, that you can all check out some of the wonderful transformations that Antony has helped achieve. So, obviously people can't go to the gym. The gyms are closed. So how have you transitioned to this online modality that we all have to deal with? And how are you training people?
So we have transitioned to using Zoom, which has turned out to be a great platform for us. We've kind of started to restructure the way how we are taking our sessions at the moment. So We've cut our sessions to 30-minute sessions. And we've worked out that the best process for this kind of occasion, where people can't get their hands on heavy resistance equipment, is resorting to a little bit more of a HIIT method. But we are still keeping the same resistance training in terms of the movement patterns, but we're just focusing at slightly higher reps, shorter rest periods, which allows us to kind of get an amazing workout in 30 minutes. And so far, it's kind of kicked off very, very well. No one knows how long we're going to be in this process form. What we really care about is so many of our current clients who are on their way to achieving their goals, and well, we've taken many new on as well. But we just want to make sure people are still getting there, are on their journey and not just stopping or going backwards. We always look to go forwards.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm not complaining that I don't have to lift those really stupid heavy weights. Every time I think, I'm like, oh, and Antony goes, oh, well, we're just going to add another 5. You won't even feel it. Oh, no. He's like, yeah. And then you see that smile. He has this like baby face smile, and it looks like it's, he's not going to hurt you, but then he does. So, that's a big issue. A lot of us, we don't have that equipment at home. I'm lucky enough to have a gym, even though I actually have the movers here right now, and I'm moving today. I can't even believe that I'm doing this in the middle of all of this, but I'm moving to a house without a gym. I'm lucky enough to have a few bits and pieces. So I'm going to have a bench, a couple of kettlebells, and some 8-kilo dumbbells that I'm going to be taking with me. But what would you say the minimum is for people who don't have access to all of these, wonderful things that we get when we go to the gym? We don't have gyms at home. So what can people use and what can people do at home?
I think the first thing for a lot of people is to simply start focusing on body weight movements. I think learning to perfect. So a lot of the people who do go to the gym at the moment, I think focusing on understanding your body, teaching yourself how to squat correctly, because we do see a lot of bad movement patterns in the gym. And I think this is a good time to address those. So there's so many ways of making things harder. It doesn't always have to. We do really care about progressive overload. So as Marina just mentioned, we've got her lifting some heavy weights these days. But this is a really good time for people to focus on. There's so many other ways of making an exercise harder. So we've got one which is tempo, so we can slow movements down. So we can make your
killer. That's totally slow it down. Slow it down. Doesn't count if you do it too fast.
Yeah, no one likes that one. Slowing it down can be one. Another one can be increasing range of motion. So instead of squatting and only moving this much, we can look to try and start working on full range of motion. And then the last thing is really just making sure you're really activating each muscle. So I keep using a squat as an example. We'll stick with that. But when we get to the top of the squat, squeezing your glutes, making sure that we're keeping tension on the muscles. There's a really important aspect of training which people forget, is keeping tension on the muscles. So that's really important when it comes to movement patterns, press ups, squats, lunges. We want to feel every part of the movement. It's not just get it over and done with as fast as possible, because that's going to lead to higher risk of injury, and that's not going to give people the results they want. If we really want a result, then we need to put that muscle group under some stress, and that's one of the simplest processes. Alternatively, if we do need to start getting some load, because I'm sure lots of your followers are strong and go to the gym and they haven't got equipment, finding things around the house. So I'd mentioned to you earlier, literally as simple as just pick yourself up a rucksack. You can load it up with some books. We'll pretend that this has got a load of books in there at the moment, and we can simply do all the same movements. We can still squat with this on our back. We can do press-ups. We can do lunges. And then if you want to make it harder, just add more stuff in there. So it's a very simple way, which so many of us could do. If you've only got a holdall, then you can hug onto that and do the same movements. It's just one potential idea, but in terms of what I really believe, it's a good time for people to understand their bodies a little bit more and just slow things down.
I love that. That is such a good idea because, I can tell you my oldest daughter, she's been doing this shred workout or something, been doing this. I did it with her one day and it was abs and bums. But if you do the same thing over and over and over, then you kind of feel like, how am I going to progress from here? Because as you say, God knows how long we're going to be here. But if you focus on doing those body weight exercise and you just do them with a rucksack and you add a little bit more weight to it each time, then that's an amazing idea. And then you can make it harder and harder and you can really keep challenging yourself. I never would have thought of that. So that's why we ask you to help us out. Because you have to think about these things for us. So now you have come up with two amazing, I see that Anne and Brittany are here. Hello. You've come up with some amazing workouts for us to do from home. And I have a few video clips here that I'm actually, so I'm putting all of this together for you guys into this wonderful little product. I'm packaging it into workout 1, workout 2 with a little intro and a little bit of a what next. And I'm putting it all together and it's all going to be ready for you on Monday. This live is going to go on the vlog and it's going to be there with the whole workout program. So from Monday, it's all accessible to you, plus all of Antony's details so you can get in touch with him. But I'm going to start pulling up a few things right now and I want you to talk us through them and talk us through what these two workouts are. So I know that we always start with mobility.
Yes.
Before I pull this up, talk to us a little bit about now. I always suffer, my shoulders hurt and I'm really tight over here. And I get a lot of, Marina, you work too much at the computer and you hunch over and you drive a lot and you hunch, So obviously I'm not driving, I'm walking, but I'm spending a lot of time on the computer and I think a lot of people are. What do you think is happening to people because they're spending all this time on the computer, and what can mobility do to help us with this?
Yes, so look, sitting down is not good for us in general for long periods of time. And it does two things. It pulls our shoulders forward where we're sitting here typing. That can start to cause tightness through the front of the shoulder. I won't go into too much detail. And then what starts to happen there is where it pulls everything forward, our upper back muscles start to weaken. And that's when we start to find that we have tension. Our shoulders aren't being pulled down, and this tension starts to lead into our neck. We start to get headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain, and it causes many problems. The same thing happens from sitting too long. Our legs get used to being in that shortened position. Our front of our hips become very tight, and then once again this starts to pull our hips forward, and this starts to cause lower back pain. So there's 3 exercises for upper body mobility and lower body mobility, which Marina's just getting prepared for you guys.
Yeah. Oh no! Sorry. Wait. Sorry, guys. No, that's not the one I wanted. Oh dear.
Technical.
Wait a second, guys. Technical glitch. I got the wrong one. That comes in a little bit. It's this one. Okay, show and stream. Here we go. And now we're going to play this. And you talk us through it.
Yes. So we're starting off with a movement called prone swimmers. It's an amazing exercise that engages in our lower traps, which is a small part in the middle of the back. And then most importantly, opening up our chest. So as we just discussed, the area we become very tight. This is a great movement just for strengthening the upper back and opening up the chest. Moving on next to cat-cow. So we have 6 reps of this. Once again, so many of us forget how to do this action of protracting and retracting. And once again, that just helps us lead some of that tension out and strengthen our upper back. And then finishing off with dislocations. This, once again, is just to open up the shoulder. So over time, the shoulder can start to be set forward. this just helps it come back because we're opening up that socket. All three of those are great movements. Already, I've had a few people mention to me how they did have shoulder pain or neck pain, and simply these three movements have fixed those issues within just a couple of days.
Okay, and here are some more. Now,
this is from my amazing colleague Amanda demonstrating for us. We have walkouts to start off with. This is just to build some hamstring flexibility and lower back, as those areas can become very, very tight from sitting for too long. Recommend just 5 reps. So once again, putting this together, you can obviously do more, but I'm just thinking of time efficiency for everyone. Moving on to runner's lunge, an amazing movement, opening up the hips. Once again, loosening the lower back, the upper hips, which lead on to sometimes lower back pain. Also great movement for just getting us prepared for a squat. And then finally, we move on to the hip flexor stretch. Now, this muscle is what becomes very, very tight for sitting for too long. So you can see Amanda just tilts her hips forward and then just starts to press her hips forward from there. Once again, it's a great movement at just opening up what's called our anterior pelvis, and just gets us into better positions when we're training and day to day to reduce pain.
Okay, that's brilliant. So we can do these mobility workouts anytime to help ourselves loosen up with everything, but they're also the 5-minute warm-up of both exercises, right? So you're supposed to do the upper body that you demoed first and then the lower body, and that's 5 minutes to warm up, and then we move into workout 1 and workout 2.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize that enough. Those should be done every day for many of us. And I just think even when people are back to work, it will help clear so many issues for people.
Okay, and then now we're moving into workout 1.
Yeah. So we're starting off with air squats. I will cover the rep ranges in 2 seconds, but we'll just cover the exercises. Now, if you have the mobility, we recommend bum to go below knees, just past parallel to the knees on every rep. Focus on pressing.
Holding it there. You see that? He makes me squat that low. It's awful. It's awful. It goes right into your butt. Carry on.
We want to keep the trunk and torso engaged and as upright as possible. And we want to be focused on pressing the knees out as we squat, because this will engage the glutes more. We have reverse lunges is the second exercise, alternating legs. Once again, as we're standing, we want to focus on pressing up through the heels. As you can see, Amanda's keeping a nice upright torso once again. And then finally, last movement is shoulder taps, which is upper body and also core. As you can see, her hips are barely moving at all. We want to keep the abs nice and engaged. And this will turn into a lovely little ab workout as well. So in terms of the exercises and their rep ranges, we want people to put 10 minutes on a clock. And in those 10 minutes, no, sorry, let me just make sure I haven't messed up my workout. Sorry, that's the next one. So yes. So with this one here, the first movement, we'll be covering 30 reps of each exercise. So, sorry, round 1 will be 30 reps. We have 30 reps of air squats, 30 reps of reverse lunges.
Is that 15 on each leg?
Sorry, say that again, Marina.
Is that 15 on each leg?
Yes, 15 on each leg. Yes, 15 on each leg. And then we will be going into the shoulder taps, which is 30 reps again, 15 on each side. You have a 30-second recovery period, and we just repeat the same process with 20 reps, then leading on to 10 on each side, and then we finish off with 10 reps, finishing off with 5 on each side. So that alone should take around 10 minutes. We can start to make this harder by increasing rep ranges. Once again, it's not that this necessarily isn't a race against the clock. We want to keep everything nice, controlled, in your descent of the movements, and always accelerating on the way up.
Okay, and now, so that's workout 1 with body weight. And then we have workout 2, and this one is using...
Sorry, just before we move on to that, just for everyone to know as well, you can add the rucksack onto all of those movements in workout 1. So even down to the shoulder taps, if you feel you're quite an advanced, we'll call you an athlete, we recommend you could just add the rucksack, and that will make everything a hell of a lot harder for you. Sorry, if you want to carry on.
Brilliant. Yes, we love things being hard for us. Okay, so, all right, so here's the next one. Wait, why is that not? It's going here. What did I do? No, okay, sorry, bear with me. It's showing in stream. Sorry, why is it not playing? It's playing here. There we go. Okay, we're back.
Okay, so do you want to mute it, Marina? As in, music's coming out at the moment.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so if we could...
All right, let's go back to the beginning. Yeah, there we go.
The first one. And if it can go back to these swings.
Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. All right.
There we go. Okay, so if you just want to pause it for 1 second. Okay, so this workout is with either a kettlebell or dumbbell. I would probably recommend not to use different pieces of equipment for this. Yes, eventually we can go over stuff what you can do at home, but I'd probably say other movements might be better for this. With this particular workout, using a kettlebell or dumbbell, we're starting off with kettlebell with swings. The way we teach swings is to teach people to be hip dominant. So you can see my knees won't be bending too much here. And all of the power is coming from my hamstrings, glutes, and lower back, because they're the areas we really want to focus with this movement. So we're starting off with the kettlebell swing. You can click play if you like now, Marina.
Okay. I'm just responding to some comments we're getting on the side here.
Oh, lovely.
Go ahead.
So we have kettlebell swings to start off with, really focusing on snapping the hips, as I mentioned just before. We're then moving on to more of a compound movement, which is a squat. Once again, it can be done with a kettlebell or dumbbell. As we demonstrated in the last video, we want to make sure our hips are going just below parallel to the knees, focusing on pressing out, screwing the feet into the floor. And then the last movement, is that order changed slightly? So let me just double check. Oh, I think one was skipped, Marina, the kettlebell push press. Oh, there we go. So with the push press, this is each side, so one side at a time. And we're focusing at using our legs to drive that kettlebell up. Once again, it's just going to create us to burn more calories. So we're looking at a push press. In terms of rep ranges, I'll go over them for each movement now that everyone's seen all of those. So with this particular workout, we have a 10-minute time cap, so 10 minutes on a clock. We're going to be starting with 20 reps with the swings, moving on to 10 reps with the push press, that's per side. And then we're going on to 10 reps for the goblet squat. This is a time cap in terms of those 10 minutes. So we want to try and complete as many rounds as possible in those 10 minutes as we can. And then the following time you do this workout, you're just trying to beat that. So I would recommend trying to aim for 3 rounds in 10 minutes would be pretty impressive. And then seeing if you can build up from there, or you can always lengthen the time to make it a harder workout too.
Okay, I'm just playing that again because someone said they didn't see the kettlebell swing demo. So that's the kettlebell swing demo again for you. And Brittany asks, what can I use if I don't have a kettlebell?
I don't know why it wasn't playing just then, Marina, the video. Did you want it to play again?
I was playing it and I just stopped it. I was just trying to swing.
Okay. So in terms of this, it's quite hard to use things around the house with this, and I think honestly, risk of injury might go up in terms of if you are going to be trying to use other pieces of equipment. So with this particular workout, I wouldn't try and alter anything. If you haven't got a dumbbell or a kettlebell, I would probably say to cut the kettlebell swings. And potentially you could use a bag or something for the other two movements. But what we can do, we can maybe arrange a call for in a couple of weeks and come up with another workout with bits at home, which you guys can all use. But yes, a swing is quite a hard one to replicate with other objects around the house.
Yeah, if you guys want Antony to come back and give us more ideas, then please let me know and let me hear. And I'm sure he'll be happy to come back and give some more ideas around that. I have another question for you about, Brittany says thank you. I have another question for you about frequency. So in the little product that I've put together that I'm just finishing off for everyone, I mentioned that in an ideal world, you would try to alternate these workouts and do them every day, or if you can't do them every day, then do them every other day. Now, I work out a lot, so it seemed to me like that was a reasonable thing to say, but maybe other people don't work out as much as I do, and maybe I over-egged it a little bit. So what's your advice around that?
So yes, I would probably say if someone's a complete newbie to training, I would say the first thing I would recommend is just doing each one once a week. If they're a complete newbie, haven't trained in quite some time. If they are really new, then maybe just doing the body weight workout twice a week to start off with before introducing equipment could be a good idea. For some of those who are a little bit more advanced, so we'll say intermediate, I would say they would be fine to do each workout twice a week. And yes, if someone is very advanced, then they could probably do these every day, although it could become a little bit tedious. So I would go on a basis of trying to do each workout twice a week if you're a little bit more advanced. And once again, just going back to the mobility, that's something people can do every day and would be very good for them. But yeah, it isn't wrong to say you could do it every day. You could, but I would say mixing it up so you've got some variety so you don't become bored with the workouts. And like I said, we can always offer more into the future. But yeah, just trying to find other challenges outside of this would be a good idea too.
So I have a question here, actually. Anne says that she's going to order a kettlebell for home. What should she get?
In terms of weight, once again, depending on the kind of her training age, I would say an 8 kilogram weight would be a great weight to start off with for a lot of females. And then some of our more advanced females, a 12 and maybe even a 16. For the swings, people would be fine with, and the squats. The shoulder press, we would probably always want to keep a little bit lighter around the 8 kilogram mark.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that actually, because in the video you use the same kettlebell for the swings and for the shoulder press. And even though I work out a lot and I'm pretty strong, there is no way that I could do a shoulder press with the same weight that I do a kettlebell swing, because I tend to do the kettlebell swing with, say, a 20 kilo kettlebell, but that shoulder press would be like 8 kilos, I would guess.
Yeah, I would say especially for some of the females, our lower body does tend to definitely be stronger in comparison compared to males. So the lower body is always pretty strong. And yes, in terms of for the swings and the squats, going that little bit heavier would make a little bit more sense. Whereas some males love to be upper body focused, so they could pretty much use the same weight for both.
Okay, well, we're talking to mostly women here, I think.
So yes, I would probably suggest the 8 kilogram. And once again, going back to potential newbies, maybe that shoulder press, maybe more of a 6 might be even more ideal.
Yeah. Brittany has a suggestion. She says maybe a demo using our toddlers as weights.
Yes, that's always potential. Yeah, I think they'll enjoy it as well. So that's idea.
Well, that's fantastic. So now these are great things to do, and this is a great way to get started. But if people want to sign up and work out with you, and take you up on your Zoom calls, do you have a certain package you're doing right now? How do they get in touch with you?
Yes, so if they want to literally just give us an email, they can email us at info@complexlondon.com, and I can send over our packages and what we offer, and we can go from there. I can and schedule in a call with them and discuss things in more detail.
Okay, that's brilliant. That's so great. Anthony, I want to thank you so much for coming and joining me on this live. It's been so great and so helpful, because I know that a lot of people also, I was talking to you about this before, the first few weeks, I think people tended to stagnate a little bit because they were like, oh my God, I have to be at home. And they caught up on their Netflix, they caught up on their inboxes, they were doing all these things. And now people are itching to get moving because they're like, enough is enough. I got to get back to, getting fit. And eventually we're going to be allowed out of our houses, and we still want to have those summer bodies, right?
Cool.
So,
Cool.
so we need to start moving, and we need to start setting those goals, and we need to start doing these things. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
And to all of you, I just want to say that I am, like I said at the beginning, putting this whole product together, and it is going to be available from Monday with the workouts done, workout 1, workout 2, a little intro and a little what's next for me. And that's all going to be attached to the vlog from this, which is all on my website, www.marinanewington.com. And I want to just finish off by telling you all that you are not alone. I know that we are in lockdown, but we are not alone. There are lots of people who are here who want to support you. And I'd love to invite you to join my Facebook community, Female Entrepreneurs Craving Time and Financial Freedom, where we talk about all sorts of things relating to your business, but relating to you and your health, and how we're dealing and how we're coping with getting through the lockdown in a way that is productive. So, cooking efficiently is productive. Exercising and lifting your mood and lifting your energy is productive. And if we do all of these things that improve our productivity with our bodies, then we're going to be ready to get back to being productive with our businesses. And we all want to do that, right? So please join. I'm including the link to the Facebook group, and I look forward to seeing you all there. All right, I will see you next time. Bye.